Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
Sphere Exclusives. Looking for exclusive content from your favorite podcasts here at the Sphere? Head over to sphere.tv/Patreon and sign up today. True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com.
KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement.
What's up? Welcome back to Technocrats, where we talk about the ins and outs of technology to empower the digital you. I'm your host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Of course, you can find me anywhere online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z, and I have to whip out my phone to make sure that we're doing a nice little Facebook share and get the watch party on. And of course, I'm always blessed to be sitting with the lovely, the awe-inspiring, the one and only Miss Free Hair Flowing, Ari McKinney. What up, Ari?
Hello. How are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Good deal. Where can the people reach you at, my dear?
They can reach me on all social media platforms at Dish with Ari, as well as ArianaMcKinney.com.
Good deal. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. What's up, all the Facebook livers? Mo, we see you in the building. I love your emojis with the little glasses on, the studious glasses. And shout out to everybody over on our Discord side, our Patreon folks. We appreciate your support, the details, and all the love. But yeah, we've got an action-packed show. And I wasn't here last week, but you had a great guest on. How about that?
Yes, we had Lee on last week. It was a good show. It was super dope. We missed you in studio, of course, but he was a very, very good replacement in the meantime.
Yeah, that's what's up. And y'all talk to y'all. I'm gonna swing in some Samsung S10 convo.
Yeah.
Because and even though it's the funny part, I'm not a big Samsung fan. For anybody who's tuned in right now, y'all know me. I do not buy Samsung phones, only their televisions. I'm not buying a phone though. But I like what they've done with the S10. So shout out to that story. I appreciate y'all doing that. Gave me some gems, and I'm gonna, like I said, I want to add on a little bit to that. So yeah, you ready to get this party rolling, my dear?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So first up to bat, folks, this is what we're doing here every day on Technocrats. Let's hop into a little Mobility Weekly. So on a Mobility Weekly, we've got a great story coming out of the box from Verizon. And this is really a follow-up story to some things that we talked about on the show before. And I kind of want to make it bring it back up to the forefront and make everybody abreast of this, because like I said, Samsung just released their S10. So pre-orders are happening now, I believe. And I don't know what the hard date is when you actually just walk out the store with it, but I know pre-orders are live, right, Ari?
Yeah.
Cool. So what's coming down the pipe from them though is their S10 5G handset, and guess who's it going to? Verizon. So the funny part of this though is when I'm saying 5G, some of y'all don't even know what we're talking about. So let's take a look at this article and kind of break this down. Verizon will be launching their 5G service in 30 cities this year. The biggest part about that is we started with 2G, worked our way to 3G, worked our way to 4G, which then was the creation of LTE. 5G is this service that is literally gonna change how we handle data and communications across this country, right? We're talking transmitting all type of information from cars talking on the internet to household appliances. The idea that you can take your handset and download a whole season of shows in a matter of minutes, whereas right now at home it may take you 20 minutes to download one movie. Imagine downloading 10 movies. Imagine downloading all of Game of Thrones for the last six seasons, and you're dropping that in 10 minutes, and you've got 6 seasons of content, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours of video content in a matter of minutes. This is what 5G is all about, and this is a different experience than you can expect anywhere right now for communications and technology as a whole. Ari, I'm excited, I guess, for the most part, because we talked a little bit about vehicles and them being able to talk to each other and navigate and get traffic information, this whole autonomous driving thing. And literally 5G is the infrastructure for that. How excited are you for 5G?
Oh, I'm super excited. I mean, we've come, like you said, such a long way from the days of 2G and even 3G that, even when 4G came out, we were, amazed at what it could do versus 3G or 2G. So 5G, I don't even think a lot of people are able to really wrap their head around what this means for the future of tech and just, like you said, autonomous vehicles, autonomous homes. Yeah, I'm super, super excited about this. I think it's gonna, open up a world of possibilities, quite literally.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, we become complacent, right? We don't know how good it is until we've had it for a minute. Because right now, we all rock with these 4G phones, and, we want our LTE service or our BO LTE for those on T-Mobile and HSP, all this other stuff. But the funny part about it is, think about how you feel when your telephone hits H. That's that little H in the corner, right? When you lose LTE and you go down a notch, you're like, this stuff is running horrible. But that's what you used to rock with 2 years ago. That was your communications. What's up to everybody in Facebook who just joined us? We appreciate y'all. Make sure I hit the share button, but definitely want to say what's up to you all, those in the watch party and whatnot. But I remember that, and even now, like when I hit a spot and I hit that H, or when I hop on the phone and I don't have LTE speed, I'm like, what's wrong with my phone? Why I got dual SIMs? Why I can't get anything? We don't know how good we have it,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's not gonna, a year or two from now, we're gonna be saying the same thing about LTE, going like, oh, hell no. Like,
Exactly.
5G, so you get spoiled after a while. And, I'm a smart home kind of person. Like, I'm excited to see what that's gonna mean.
Yeah. Same here.
For home automation.
Oh, that's going to be phenomenal. I can imagine just the conversation. We may have to tag JJ Cannon over there at the Digital Ramble and the Y Experience and have a conversation with him about home automation in regards to 5G service. Make sure y'all check out his podcast. But I'm excited for it. And let's just talk a little bit about those cities, because, they don't tell us exactly what cities. However, we can expect those to be some of the biggest cities: your LA, your New York, your Houston, Chicago, some of your major metroplexes, your Las Vegas, places that are really going to be able to utilize that bandwidth speed. And of course, keep in mind, AT&T has already released released in 12 cities as of right now, and of course Sprint is on everybody's trails as well, and T-Mobile is planning to launch in 30 probably the same cities. So the big key though is the handsets, and that's why I go back to the conversation earlier, Ari, was it's so important for Samsung and other makers to drop 5G handsets, because you can have all the infrastructure you want, but the phone won't connect to it.
Right. Like if you can't use it, then it's just sitting there.
Yeah, literally. You have no idea how fast the service is available because you hadn't upgraded your phone to a phone that will support 5G speed. So for those that are tuned in right now, keep in mind you may want to hop on a 5G phone sometime this year because literally it could be night and day in regards to how fast that handset works for you. So just
Yeah,
keep
like
that in mind.
those people that are rocking with the 5G and then those that don't, they're gonna see the difference and they're gonna be so upset.
Oh my God. I literally night and day. It's going to make, I mean, you could have an older handset, but have a 5G antenna, and it's going to feel so much faster than the brand new handset with only a 4G connection. Like,
Right.
that's the difference. And obviously, you know, bigger, when the antenna goes up means more power, which means more battery, which goes into while the phones are having smaller bezels, more screen, more battery, all those different things are going into play. Why? Because you want that type of connectivity, and you're going to need the battery power for it. So shout out to Verizon, 30 cities coming 2019. Let's keep this party going. We're going to switch gears and let's hop into our digital trends. So digital trends is really big. It's really important. And actually, before we dive deep into our digital trends, let's hear from one of our sponsors, and that's over at The Sphere, which is us, and our exclusive team. So, are you looking for exclusive content and you can't find it anywhere else? Look no further than our Sphere exclusives only found on Patreon. We've got some behind the scenes shots that are happening daily at the Sphere Podcast Studios, where each show on the network is curating content that's just for our Patreon subscribers. So we also deliver shows that are live from start to finish in our Discord server that's exclusive to that same Patreon family. Don't sleep, folks. You got to sign up today at thesphere.tv/Patreon to join one of our tiers, which are either $2, $5, or $8, and get access to all the exclusive content we offer right here at the Sphere. And I swear to God, I'm gonna rewrite that ad. I need it to flow smoother, cause I be ad-libbing it. I take it, I read it, and I'll be like, let me flip this, and this. But I need to write it so people can have a good, firm feel for when they say that thing. Or just staring over there like, Gary, don't rewrite the ad. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm like, I believe it when I see it. When I see it, it's all good.
I hear you. But diving back into our digital trends, we've got a doozy, folks, and I'm gonna call it a doozy. This dude won't stay off Twitter, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But Elon Musk has some concerns about an AI bot that could hit these interwebs pretty soon. Ari, what's going on with this over there?
So Elon Musk and Microsoft, will say, because they back this nonprofit research company called OpenAI.
Mm-hmm.
And OpenAI has developed it's developed AI so good at writing that its creators will not release it. So they think it's super dangerous to let the public have it. So what it is it's a text generating system that can write page-long responses to prompts. So it can mimic everything from fantasy prose to fake celebrity news stories to homework assignments. And it's gotten really good, and too good, in fact, to the point that, Musk and Microsoft are scared of it, to say the least. So its initial goal when they built it was to, increase. Let me back up. How they trained it was they trained it on 8 million web pages. And so what they would do is they would give it like the beginning of a sentence and then see if it could finish the sentence based on the words that came before it. Mm-hmm. And it's gone above and beyond their expectations. So it's starting to produce very, very persuasive versions of deepfakes, which for those who don't know, deepfakes are just fake audio and video files that are created by AI. So there's some things that it could be helpful for, such as, helping writers make crisper copy, kind of, a little bit more creative copy, or improving voice assistant, like Siri or Alexa. But what they're afraid of is that the wrong people will get their hands on it and use it to quite literally create fake news or social media posts or, fake political posts from politicians that they didn't say or and yeah, so they're trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, that's some. I almost said that's some BS, but the flip side is, we've got so much fake news that hits the webs now. Like, that's my concern for those that are tuned in right now via Facebook. Let us know, what do y'all think? Y'all think this is a good idea? Should they release this bot that can write just like a human, quote politicians, all that stuff, or do you think we should keep stuff like this under wraps? We want to know what you all think, and we'll dive deep into your comments in a second here. But Ari, I'm on the fence with this, right? It's like I don't want to stifle the growth of technology, right? I don't want AI to be put on the back burner because we're afraid of what it can do. However, we have issues now with, governments being taken hostage overseas and things like that, and different countries doing cyber espionage. So it's very concerning to think that we may have to deal with bots in the US that are simply writing things that just aren't true. I'm just
That
concerned.
sound exactly human like in the article. If you folks get a chance to check out the article, they gave a Lord of the Rings example where they gave a short passage of the Lord of the Rings and then saw what it came up with next, and you would not be able to tell that this
Hmm.
was not part of the novel.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it's so convincing. And so then, my concern is that, again, we're already inundated with so much fake news, and so many people already don't take the time to do their own research and find out if what they're reading, especially particularly on social media, is, fake, if it's true, if the sources, if it's coming from where people are saying it's coming from. And so, you know, with something that sounds so realistic and so human like and can literally just kind of pick up the nuances and the prose of the content it's originally pulling from.
Hmm.
It's going to become that much harder, and when we get into politics, I mean, I look at the possibility of like wars being started
Yeah.
over stuff like this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And Charles over on our Facebook feed says this is scary. They need to refine it in some way, or perhaps put a watermark on so that you know that AI created the content, so you can kind of discern between what's real and what's not real. And Charles, I totally agree with that. There should be some type of convention that's put in place so that this is man-made versus artificial. The challenge to that is I could see hundreds, if not thousands, of journalists being fired and now having bots writing for them, and then you've
Yeah.
got these perfect papers and news pieces that are literally just written by artificial intelligence.
I
So
mean,
then, you don't want to damage your brand as a business
right.
because you letting people know that bots are writing your stuff. It's
I mean,
it's crazy.
dissertations, thesis, all these kinds of things. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Can you imagine? Um, just the possibilities for this just taking off in a negative way, I think outweigh the benefits, of having it. I think it's super cool, but I don't know that I necessarily want it released. My thing was when I first read it, I'm like, if Elon Musk is scared to release it, it probably shouldn't be released.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and he spoke before saying that, technology, we've got to be very, very cautious about artificial intelligence. And I think we've all seen the movies, right?
Right.
And this is no tech talk. This is just straight logic. We've seen the movies around artificial intelligence, Terminator. What is it? The Terminator with Judgment Day and all those other things. Things occurring that literally we get taken over by artificial intelligence. And at some point, the logic is true. Humans are damaging this planet. if a computer decides that we are the issue and they have jurisdiction to do whatever, then they will use that, because that's a logical statement. There's no emotion involved unless you write emotion in some type of logic code. So I think what people are saying online, Monique made a comment as well, saying that it's not exposed and may be made available to the public. We can guarantee that the government would use it to persuade the masses in various directions. Correct. And I think that there's going to come a point to where we stop using artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence starts using us. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to be cautious of when we roll through that. Arlene says the same thing. She says she's not for this at all. This is opening up to too much. And I agree. I mean, this opens up a various cans of worms. And we have to be concerned. And this is real. This not real. Like in the future. This is now.
Like, to me, I could literally see this being the beginning of the end for us.
Yeah.
And that is terrifying, I mean, like you said, AI doesn't have emotion. And the second that they decide we need to go, that's what's going to happen.
That's a wrap,
and it's going to be too late to do anything about it at that point. You can't uncode that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a done deal. Done deal. You know what else is a done deal? Facebook Live is. We love y'all. We support y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Facebook. But guess what, folks? You got to get the full show. And the only way to get the rest of this episode, you've got to go subscribe. So head over to sphere.tv/Technocrats. We got a few options: iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify, where everywhere podcasts can be found. And you want to make sure you're tuned in, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to review this Audi e-tron SUV. So a lot of y'all are interested in electric vehicles. We're going to break that down and talk about that in a second. We're also talking about something. We're talking about our Gamers Wanted segment, which I love, because guess what? We're building something for y'all. So stay tuned for our gamers out there. But we got a Gamers Wanted segment coming up. We got a lot of hotness, but you got to get this content on one of those podcasting platforms. And while you're there, share it with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Share it out so they know what we're talking about here with technology. Also, review us. Let people know that you like the show or you don't like it, or you need some comments, or, whatever you've got you want to talk about. Give us that constructive criticism, because we want to continue to build better shows for you. And last but not least, sow a seed if you're really about that life and you support the movement here at the Sphere. Head over to sphere.tv/donate. We got a couple of options. You can donate one time right there on the website, because we're building this enriched content every week. Or you can get some exclusive content that's dropping almost daily over for our Patreon folks. Now you got to hop on one of the Patreon tiers, and everybody that's tuned in right now, I hope y'all supporting. Go to sphere.tv/Patreon, and then you can hop into a $2, $5, or $8 tier. We're getting content that only you can see. And of course, all the Patreon folks are still kicking it with us on our Discord channel right now, because we're going to comment and talk throughout the show with our Discord folks, people on Patreon. So guess what? You've got to subscribe to get the rest of this content and hop into Patreon so you can get it early. Be the first, folks. We'll see y'all later right here at the Sphere. All right, Patreon, I'm here for y'all. Yeah. Kim Adams says support. We appreciate you, Kim. Backed Big Can. Monique. I'm not sure what that means, but hop over on Patreon, because hop over in Discord, because I know you're going to be there. But let's chop it up, Discord folks, and keep this party rolling. Want to say what's up to you all as we hop into this next article, as we just beat this last one to death, child.
Yes. It's serious stuff.
Yes, it really is, though. Staying within our digital trends, let's break this down, and I'm excited. I'm not necessarily a car buff, but I want to have this conversation because a lot of times people want to have the conversation of, should I go electric or not? Do I want to put my hands on a vehicle that doesn't use gasoline anymore? And, full disclosure, I am an electric car owner, and I have been for over 5 years. And I cannot tell you the joy of not having to get regular maintenance, of not having to worry about belts, hoses, transmission flushes and alternators and all this other stuff, timing belts, everything that you have to worry about, gasoline, oil changes, what is that? Fuel injectors and fuel
Look,
pumps.
you don't even know what it is anymore.
Yeah, all this stuff, just all this stuff that I don't have to worry about because I plug in my car. Now, obviously, it's still a vehicle. Things still go wrong, and I still have my issues, but they're few and far between in comparison. And I put 160,000 miles on my car, and it still runs like the first day I got it because it's electric. It's not a wear and tear type of situation. But there's a new competitor in town when it comes to the SUV, which excites me because my next vehicle will be an electric SUV, and it might be this one. So let's hop into the conversation. We're looking at the 2019 Audi e-tron SUV, and boy, is this thing sweet. So 2019, you can actually put your pre-order in today. This comes in right under $75,000. And this is Audi's, technically, it's their second push of electric vehicle, but literally the first one that's actually going to mass market because they've got a vehicle, the A3, which is their car. But when I tell you this e-tron SUV is sweet, 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. It's a little under 6,000 pounds. It's like 5,500 pounds. So less heavier than your Tesla Model X. And since I'm talking X, let's actually break down a comparison because that's really apples to apples today. What's up, Patreon? We see y'all over there in the corner. But that's really apples to apples right now. It's having a conversation with the competitor, which is Tesla's Model X, which comes in at about 80. Actually, the price was right at the same price point, and then they've made some new configuration changes, so the price is kind of fluctuating between 75 and 82. But we're talking really close to the same amount of speed. The range is where things change. Tesla, you're going to get an extra 30 or 40 miles to the charge versus this Audi e-tron. Now, we don't have full EPA for the United States yet, but on the European side, they're claiming a little bit under 250 miles to the full charge. I'm expecting US to hit somewhere between 200 and 250. The big question, though, is, Ari, and let me ask you this, because I'm sure you'll have an electric car before we know it, is 200 miles at $75,000 a good buy? What do you think?
Ooh.
For a luxury SUV. Let me just
give
it all out.
I'll start by saying I'm an SUV lover, so that's what so this catches my eye because I'm more likely to buy an SUV as opposed to a car.
Uh-huh.
So I would say I'd probably go for it. Like the 30 or 40 extra miles at I don't know. It's really not that much longer in the grand scheme of things. I'd say I'd go for it because, again, to me, the initial cost of it the benefits. It outweighs all the things that you mentioned in the beginning, which is the lack of having to do so much maintenance. So I feel like you get your money's worth with that aspect alone.
Yeah, and for those that are watching this podcast and I just listened to it, you can actually, we're showing video footage of the e-tron on the road now. And I think Tesla did a marvelous job by making an electric vehicle look like the average vehicle. And Audi has upped the ante because not only does it look like it on the outside, but in the inside of this vehicle, it looks just like any other Audi SUV, just like the Q5, the Q7. There's not a distinguishing difference or a minimalistic feel to it, at least inside the cockpit. And I think that could actually be a differentiating factor because one of the negatives that we always heard was, these electric vehicles that are out, they look very minimalistic, plain Jane, whatever the case is. And people miss the knobs, bells, and whistles or buttons inside the vehicle.
Yeah, no, I was going to say when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this looks sleek. Like, I like it. I think it's really good looking. It looks, like you said, just like an Audi. It's not the It's not the God, why can't I think of it now? You know, like you said, the little where you look at it and you're like, oh, that's an electric
Yeah, like a
car.
Prius or a hot.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you. I don't know why it was, you know, it's not like the Prius of SUVs. You know, it looks sleek and like a luxury car. And
yeah.
so, you know, I think if it didn't have that, I think they were smart for that, because if it did, you know, have that minimalistic kind of Prius kind of feel, I don't think they would get many of them off the lot at 75K.
At all. No, I mean maybe none. Like I,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But and let's hop under the hood a little bit. I think I mentioned this earlier, but 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. You got 95 kilowatt hour battery that gets, you know, a little over 200 miles to the charge. We'll get some some official numbers at some point. Top speed roughly 125 miles an hour. That's all you need, folks. Y'all
Yeah.
tripping out here. I'm sure there'll be a sport version that'll do 160, 170, but where you legally gonna do that at?
Right.
And I mean, you get the frunk in the front. You know, it doesn't have much storage space. Like in this particular photo that we're showing right now, they've got the charging cable up front in their frunk area, so you don't get as much as you do in some of the other electric vehicles like a Tesla. And you know, you got full front and back space, but looks like they shifted some of their connectivity, some of the circuitry is up front, which is probably eating up a little bit more space, because guess what? These are traditional auto manufacturers, and they've never had space in the front. So to give you something is better than nothing from what you would
Right.
normally get.
Right.
But like I said, all of this at 75,000, I think that's a good price point. Especially when the Tesla Model X is about 10 grand more because due to their new rebuild. And keep in mind, Jaguar has a version as well, a SUV, and it comes in at about 70. It has a little bit longer range, but it is a Jaguar. Who knows how long it's gonna last on the road? Let me just be honest.
Right.
Let me keep it a buck. But I'm loving it. I love the interior. I think it's going to speak, like I said, to people who are accustomed to standard technology. You got great space in the back for the vehicle. The mirrors. Now, U.S., we're still on these very draconian laws written onto the books that you can't have, for whatever reason, you have to have real mirrors, and you can't use cameras. In Europe, they'll be able to have cameras for their side view mirrors, whereas here in the United States, you'll have the regular mirrors. The cameras will allow for a slightly better ratio for distance, so I think you get an extra half a mile or mile without the regular mirrors, so they're a bit more aerodynamic. But you know, it is what it is. It's the United States. It's just what it does. But once again, folks, 2019 Audi e-tron 75K, and that's with a good loaded package. You can take that up to 81K to kind of lux it out, and that's before you get the $7,500 tax credit. Not
Yeah.
rebate, not deduction. That is a dollar for dollar credit on your taxes, meaning if you owe $7,500, you buy this vehicle, you will owe zero in taxes. This is a true tax credit. If you
Keep
getting
your
a
coins up.
refund, this ain't for you. This is not the vehicle for you if you're getting a refund. Let me just keep it a buck. Let me keep it a buck. Speaking of keeping it a buck, let your buck get stretched a little bit further with great marketing from our guys over at True Digital. So you're online right now, and so are your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be a consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your website development, your online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engine. Give us some call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at area code 832-934-4436, or send an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the sphere to receive a free 30-minute strategy consultation. Shout out to True Digital Media Services. Yes, indeed. Now, one of my exciting segments. Let's swap over to our Gamers Wanted. Yeah, shout out to Mario, man. Come a long way. We've come a mighty long way for that. Looks like there's some things popping or not
Yes.
popping anymore
Yes.
with Pokemon Go. What's going on with this, Ari?
So I'm sure we're all familiar with Pokemon Go. It was immensely popular.
It sure was.
It really was. So the company that created Pokemon Go, which is Niantic, had a lawsuit against them from property owners because they were getting upset that people were essentially congregating on their private property because they had Pokestops, on people's houses or even in public spaces, like parks where there were, bunches of people congregating in parks, close to private property late at night and just causing kind of a ruckus.
Yep.
So they finally have settled this trespass lawsuit and have agreed to change locations away from personal property without the consent of the property owner or the leaseholder. Yeah. So the main changes that they agreed to in the settlement is that changes need to they need to attempt to make changes within 15 days with the expectation that at least 95% of this will be remedied in over the course of 3 years. So they at least need to start reaching out to property owners within 15 days of this, lawsuit settlement. And then the other one is to remove virtual landmarks within 5 days if a location is within 40 feet of a single family residence. And then the last main point is with public parks, Niantic has to post opening and closing hours on their company website to try and prevent people from congregating there past, closing hours at parks. So what do you think about this?
Well,
this
here I think it's a little late. Like everybody's on Fortnite now, man. So it's like
Yeah.
I think that, but then again, it's legislation, right? And it's trying to catch up to where we're at today. So it takes time. Um, I think my biggest concern is probably for safety of people, because what I saw, and please share your what you remember of this. Now, people were not paying attention. All I heard, somebody died in New York. Like
Yep.
it was one of. I mean, you start mixing in augmented reality, and people have to hold their phones up. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people were crossing the streets without looking, getting hit
Yeah.
by cars, falling off. Like it was crazy. It got to a point where you kind of got, unfortunately, used to hearing stories of people getting hurt some kind of way because they had their phone out in front of their face, weren't paying attention to what was going on. So yeah, I'm with you. I think this is too little, too late to some extent. Like
Mm-hmm.
my first thought was, I mean, are people really still? And I'm admittedly not, a huge gamer, but I did actually play this a bit because I was so curious and it had so much hype. And my son likes Pokemon, so I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And it was really cool. But I'm like, are people really still playing it like that?
I don't know.
Like,
That's the thing. I don't know if people are really into it. For
um,
those on Patreon, let us know. Y'all playing?
like I don't know. Like I don't see people really walking around with playing this game anymore. But I could see, as a property owner, being a little perturbed by having, because some of these, groups of people were, hundreds deep,
Mm-hmm.
out there. And yeah, that would I could see that irking me personally having a young kid, school nights and stuff. And next thing you know, I've got 100 kids, chasing Pokeballs on my yard. You kind of hate to sound like the get off my lawn kind of person, but at the same time, you know,
Get off my lawn.
but at the same time, I could see it. But I mean, is posting park hours on Niantic's site,
Mm-hmm.
really gonna prevent that problem? I don't think so. I mean, is it really gonna stop property owners or leaseholders from having to come outside and say, literally, get off my lawn, or get away? I don't think so. Because if they're not paying attention enough to not get themselves hit by cars,
Come on.
then I don't think this is gonna do anything.
I don't think
But
so either. I don't think I think we're gonna continue to have these issues, and I think. But here's the only thing I do think as we wrap this up: whatever happens here, and how this truly plays out will set precedents for what
Yes.
occurs later. And
Yeah.
that's the big piece of this. This isn't this. It was not the first augmented reality game. It won't be the last, and it's only going to get more intense. So what we do now will determine how things are handled down the pipe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it is. And speaking of handling things down the pipe, and that's a horrible transition. This particular portion of the show is sponsored by KOG and Company. How about that? So our unique gifts and talents challenging the world. Unleash your dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passions in life. Join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells within. Shop dope gear at KOGpassion.com. That's KOGpassion.com and use the coupon code DOPE for 10% off exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. Act now, sizes are selling out fast. And once again, that's KOG, like OG Kush, passion.com. I'm just having fun today. I'm going to have fun with these ass today. All right. Great stories this week. I appreciate your love.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
Good
you got
stuff.
anything popping this weekend? Anything under the hood on the tech side?
I'm just trying to get my house unpacked at this point. Like,
oh yeah, you did move recently.
I had a frustrating day with my internet yesterday. It took three trips for the technician to come out here and get things working. I was frustrated, but we finally got it going, thank goodness. But no, I'm just trying to get everything unpacked so I can start kind of jumping into my tricking it out to the smart home I want it to be, and getting in the home automation side of things and deciding what I want to get. So I'm kind of starting with a clean slate. Right now, all I really have are my Echo Dots here. So I want to start, accumulating some other coolness. And pretty much I want to be able to operate my whole house from my phone at some point. So, take advantage, hopefully, of this 5G network that's going to be coming through, hitting Houston soon.
Yeah, that make you want a cell tower. Like, I swear I got fiber to the house, but my fiber, I don't know sometimes. I feel like my fiber is a little fugazi. Like, my numbers aren't right.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. They're saying a gig to the gig down, a gig up is synced. I don't know, though. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But no, other than that, just trying to get that settled. You know how moving goes. It's moving.
I totally do. Do.
What about you?
Me, I'm just working on this Delta Studio. Got most of the devices up and functional. Swapping stuff over, testing some Titler over NDI, and we'll see if that works out, and some other kits and caboodles. But yeah, just in building process right now. Build. Thanks, Mish. Mish says studio looks amazing. I appreciate you. You.
Yes.
But anyway, Ari, let the good people know where they can reach you at.
You can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Insta at Dish with Ari. Did I forget? I feel like I forgot one. And at ArianaMcKinney.com.
That's what's up. And of course, you can reach me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. For shizzle, my dizzle. I expected him to say it funnier, but he didn't say it right. So I was trying to hit y'all with the faux shizzle, my dizzle, from Snoop Dogg, but it didn't work. Anyway, hit us up at Technocrats across all social media platforms with the coveted hashtag, and we will definitely get back with you at the Sphere TV. And we'll see y'all next time, folks. Peace.
See you next week, y'all.